It's the radio guy, Mike Prince. Welcome to yet another episode here at the Mike Prince Show on the Open Mic Broadcast Network. We have joining us on the Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union Hotline, all the way from South Carolina, head baseball coach of the Voorhees Tigers baseball program, none other than Coach Marcus Smith. How you doing today, my man?
I'm doing great.
Well, we're excited to have you on board. Glad to have you reach out to that 24-hour message line. And as you see, we work pretty fast.
Yes.
Well, look, a lot of people are like, well, what's a Voorhees? You know, we had our little joke about it, but Voorhees is an HBCU school located in South Carolina. But I'll let you bring us up to speed on the history of it and the baseball program that you've inherited.
Voorhees is an HBCU school. It's the NAIA independent conference. It was founded by Elizabeth Wright. It's a school enrollment of approximately 600 students. The school is built based off the Episcopal Church. And it's just a tight-knit family environment that has welcomed me in since I've been there.
Okay. Now, you said independent, but you do have some working relationship with the Gulf Coast region.
Yes.
I mean, Gulf Coast Athletic Conference.
Yes,
and with that, the baseball is something that they're still working to develop. If that were the case, would that be another conference that you guys would consider going to, or are you looking elsewhere?
Well, it's funny you mention that because I know when I talked to Ms. Johnson, the athletic director, I mentioned to her about possibly the SIAC. I mean, why not? Allen University is going through a transition period of the NAIA. So that's something we're looking at into as we speak.
Okay, now what would it take to do that with that train? Would it be baseball only for that?
No, it will actually be all the sports, not just baseball. There's several factors apply to that, but it'll be all the sports, not just baseball.
Okay, well, that would normally take a 2 to 3 year process,
yes.
Would it not?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
yes,
so, man, we're getting some breaking news then that Voorhees may be ready to take a leap of faith.
It's possible. Everything is all willing. It's in God's hands. You never know. We never know.
Well, you got an Episcopal background, so you might as well lean on it all the way. That's
yes.
all right. We're talking with Marcus Smith of the Voorhees Tigers. First year out the gate, then you meet this girl named Corona, and she just slowed everything down for you.
Yes.
How disappointing was that being your first year out the gate?
It was a transition, Mike. We got in 11 games, and all of a sudden it came out of nowhere. But at the same time, it allowed me to kind of get a different perspective of things. Things happen. Only God control the situation, and it's just unfortunate because the guys were excited with me on board and everything. But like I said, you can't control it. Through this time period, I've been kind of conversing with the guys, making sure they do what they're supposed to do academic wise, and also on the field by Zoom work through videos and that nature. But it's just one of those deals that's, I'm not the only one in the country. Every coach is facing this. It's just an adjustment period for us.
Right, and with that adjustment period, there are no room for excuses. As you mentioned, everyone has to deal with it. What have you learned about yourself as an individual and a coach through this process?
Well, I learned it's a lot of things through this period. I'm a very spiritual man myself. I learned that just through this downtime, things that areas I might need to work on as far as my pluses and minuses, things I need to do that I learned back from my previous schools I was in. So this allowed me to kind of evaluate myself and see going forward from here what I need to do to make myself better as a coach, as a man, a husband, that nature, and moving forward to lead this program in the right way.
Okay. Once again, we're speaking with Marcus Smith of the Voorhees Tigers, NAIA, soon to be Division II. Sounds like, what a move!
Well, we're working towards it, Mike.
Hey, man, I'm just kind of I'm hanging on there. You develop to get better, and what better leap of faith would that be? Now, when you talk about that, Voorhees has had, let's say, some challenges, for lack of a better word, athletics as a whole. What lured you to become part of the program? And it wasn't a program that you were not familiar with, right, from prior experiences.
Right. I guess what lured me, I was attracted to the job. Actually, they gave me an opportunity to have an admin role there, too, because I'm an athletic academic enhancement coordinator. So they was impressed with me through the interview process and things I'm able to offer them, by coaching on Division II level for the last 10 years. So, I said, why not? It's giving me a chance to move in the administration role because at the end of the day, I enjoy hands-on, but at the end of the day, the administrative role is going to set me up later on in my career.
Very good, very good. Now, Voorhees has on record 8 to 10 sports that they're currently dealing
10
with.
Sports.
Right.
Yes.
And we're going to go through those in just a moment. Would there be any possibility of adding a couple of more sports, especially talking about making the move up?
Yes, we talked about it. Ms. Justin and I, we talked about it, but that's still a work in progress. It's a chance. It's a chance.
Okay. Now, let's get to as they say, the nuts and bolts of things. Baseball. NAIA division, still some very competitive baseball. And through our conversation prior to this interview, South Carolina sounds far, but it's closer what we think when we talk about this triangle between Georgia and Florida. And you got a great opportunity to play some good quality ball in that triangle.
Yes. We actually located in a nice, of course, my recruiting pipelines. I mean, you like an hour from Charlotte, an hour from Atlanta, 3 hours from Jacksonville, Florida. And most of my pipelines come from, of course, Georgia, South Carolina, of course, Tennessee, where I was before, and other places, Florida. So, a nice little area, which I was surprised. I didn't know we was that close to Florida. But it's some good baseball played down here. If you think about it, Mookie Wilson, he's from Bamberg. That's right down the street from Voorhees. Preston Wilson, that's right down the street from Voorhees. So it's good baseball down in the rural area where I'm at.
Okay, and with that, the ultimate challenge when we talk to coaches across the nation is finding the African-American baseball guy who's interested in playing baseball. Because let's be honest, and I'm going to sound biased to this, but I believe baseball players are truly the most athletic players of any sport because they have other diverse skills that they bring.
Right. I know from perspective from recruiting wise, I know baseball, a lot of kids, we lose them around the middle school or high school. I think we should start young. A lot of programs doing this, particularly back in Atlanta. A lot of guys kind of stray off to basketball and football. But baseball it's a great sport. It's cerebral. It requires a lot of mental aspect of the game. But I would love to see. We were actually working on it. Guys like Marquise and those guys. We working on trying to get blacks more involved in baseball. You look at MLB; it's a small percentage from players to coaches. So it's now we start to get programs started on an early stage in the elementary, and then introduce it early. So it's a work in progress. It's a work in progress, and I can say we are going the right direction because now we have a diversity committee with the NCAA that's led by Coach Kerry Jackson from Southern University. So that's a plus, and I'm excited about that.
Yes, sir. Kerry Jackson is definitely a friend to the network. He's a native St. Louisan, so we try to keep our hands in the pot from time to time. Now, when you talk about that, the general concern is the affordability of baseball. And we know that select ball, just like AAU, has become money ball on a lower scale. And the little leagues have been the ones to, I guess, wreak the havoc from these type of programs. How do we recapture that, or is it too late to try and recapture that old glory?
It's not, and like you said, it's becoming such a monetary sport. It is. I can witness to that. But I think by getting sponsorships involved, getting guys who played in the game, having those guys coming back to reach back, it's going to have to be a collaborative effort because at the end of the day, it is costly. It is costly. My nephew played the Georgia Tigers. I can't tell you how much money he spent back and forth to Lake Point up in Atlanta. It's a grind. It is not guaranteed, Mike, that you're going to get the exposure, but it's so much, it costs. It really does. It costs.
Well, see, I'm just an old-fashioned guy, Brother Smith, and I know people, they invest in their kids because they want that quote-unquote exposure that you just mentioned, but if you get enough repetition in, and if you got any ounce of skill, you're going to be found. You're going to get the proper exposure that you need. But what you have to be able to do is create a outstanding work ethic, and you have to be hungry enough that you are willing to prove not only that you're a bona fide player, but a bona fide student, that you can get those opportunities. That's what makes the NAIA competition so great. You've had some guys who were able to prove that with this pandemic through an excellent recognition through their academia. Can you give us a little bit more information about that?
Yes. I'll tell you what, I am so excited about this. I'll tell these guys, this is bigger than going to the World Series. We received a prestigious award from ABCA, which is American Baseball Coaches Association. And out of 400 programs, it was only 4 HBCUs chosen for this award of maintaining a 3.0 or higher. It was Coppin State, Alabama State, North Carolina Central, and us, Voorhees College in Denmark, South Carolina. Now, furthermore, we had 2 presidential scholars, Donald Lauer and Henry Adam Breyer, and also Kevin Coach. This recently was announced, I guess, 2-3 months ago. He was awarded 2020 HBCU Competitive Scholar Inspired White House Initiative Program on HBCUs. So, I mean, these guys has done well in the classroom. I always stress academics is first. This defines what a true student athlete, what it means to be a student athlete, and it allows me, gives me stability within the program, because this is half of the battle. You know, as a college coach, kids take care of business in the classroom. That's half the battle. I can take care of the rest on the field.
Absolutely, and that's what it's all about. It's really a partnership, and people don't realize it. You know, back in my day, I was fortunate enough where they offered full scholarships, believe it or not, for baseball. That day is long gone. You're going to have to bring some of that brain power, exceptional brain power, to get some of that money that's out there for everyone, and have a little bit of talent. And you can get a college education out of very little resources coming directly out of your own pocket.
Attention all coaches. Whatever your sport is, we want to tell your story. Dial our 24 hours, 7 days a week message line at 713-570-6736. Leave your game results, team results, and player results on our 24-hour message line. 713-570-6736. Have sports, will travel. The Open Mic Broadcast Network, serving the community through faith and athletics, the voice of student athletics.
We're speaking again with Coach Smith from Voorhees College. And here's the question that I was pondering. You're independent. How challenging is that to schedule games on an NAIA level?
Well, you know, Mike, it really has been challenging because a lot of coaches, they've been following me. And I left the SIC, left Division II, and the good work I've done there. Believe it or not, my schedule's full. I've been having a lot of guys come in because they're eager to play me, and they know how the programs that I have in the past and how well respected the kids going to be disciplined. Just the things I do with run a program on and off the field. So it hasn't been that difficult. You know, we actually, George Gwinnett is one of the top powerhouse, and I know him personally, and he reached out to me. I said, no problem. You know, we don't run away from talent, but I think in the past he probably would have not. But knowing the fact it's a new chief in town, and he knows this program is going to go in the right direction. We're not going to go backwards. You see what I'm saying, Mike? We're going forward.
Yes,
we're going forward. So I told the guys, just keep in mind, we're going to get more respect. We're going to get a lot of respect now because they know things are going to be done the right way. And that's the only way I know how to do it is the right way, on and off the field. That's just me. I'm a man of character, living a good Christian life. And that's just me. And the kids have seen that since I got on board. They're just excited with the structure I have provided those guys and just my walk of life on and off the field. I mean, they love it. Those kids just needed some structure before I got there. The talent was already there. They just need some structure.
Okay, very good. Now, for those who are unfamiliar with Voorhees College, could you describe your ballpark dimensions and paint that picture, man, so we could get a visual of what it's like?
Okay. The ballpark, first of all, it's our field. You know, a lot of HBCU coaches share city field, so it's my baby. It's our field. We sit on about close to 400 acres overall the campus, but it's 400 straightaway center. It's a pretty nice sized park. It's coexist with the softball field, and you got the track. And it sits out in the back. You know, it's in a great location, good fan base, not too far from the dormitories to come see the game. But it has a lot of potential. I have done a lot of work since I've been there, regraded the infield, such nature, and also in the process of redoing the cage. So they are on board what I'm trying to do. You know, I'm so used to Mike doing things on my own. I'm like, wow, you know, operation. Those guys come by Smith, you know, what need to be done, this and that. The vice president, he came down and watched several practices. And I was like, what's going on? They just excited. And, you know, kids talk. My kids gonna talk. The basketball coach came to me. He said, "Smith, I don't know what you're doing. You're doing a great job, baby. These kids, they love what you're doing." So they spread the word. They spread the word. So the field is coming along. It's coming along. So the good thing about it is I'm not sharing the field with nobody. It's my field, so I'm allowed to do projects on it without any interference. So it's all as good as you make it.
Absolutely. When you said 400 straight away, I'm assuming 365, 375 in the gaps and 330 down the line?
Yep. Exactly.
Oh, man. What's the seating capacity?
The seating capacity, now that's the area I'm working on. We got to work on that, the seating capacity. So that's something I'm working on now. So I'm going to kind of work on that project. It'll probably hold maybe close to probably just the seating itself, probably maybe let's say 75. 75 people.
Okay.
Yeah. So but you got room for improvement on the size and area,
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. And what they always say, winning is contagious, excitement is contagious, and people come out there, and who knows, man. You keep making appearances like this, man, we can help spread that word for you and get some of those donations to help the program out. How about that?
Thank you. We really appreciate that.
Yes, sir. We're talking with head baseball coach Marcus Smith of the Voorhees Tigers, independent NAIA, but be watching. You heard it here first. Soon, in about a 2 to 3 year window, could be looking at a new location. And with that, is that part of the recruiting tool as you go out and get guys right now about the potential of transitioning over and they can be a part of history? Or what is your selling point for Voorhees?
I guess my selling point would be just the simple fact that with the academics, I think that's one of the areas because on the field, it's going to sell itself because I'm like I don't know how you can say it. Nick said, I recruit. I mean, I don't stop, man. I'm steady looking for talent, and I have a knack for talent. I have a lot of great contacts in my corner. The guys that help me out to help build a program, such as Ron Jackson, Marquise Grissom, and Edwin Thompson, who's at East Kentucky. So a lot of guys who know of me. I got a lot of eyes that can help me build a program quickly. But number one, I think academics, and that's the area that I want to make sure that we highlight in. That should be able to bring in a lot of programs. Because at the end of the day, a parent want to know what kind of quality education a kid is receiving, and that helps out with the academic progress rate and make sure those kids getting out of there 4 years.
Yes, sir. That is the grand prize when the dust is settled. Now, when you come to your recruiting, and I know being an NAIA, you got to overcome some hurdles, but not as many as people would think. When you're looking for a guy to add to your program, I personally, and this might sound biased, I don't want guys who I consider one-dimensional. And by that, you got to be able to play more than one position. To me.
Right.
I don't want a guy to say all he does is pitch. On this level, and when I say this level, I'm talking about college, regardless of your division, you have to be an asset. You have to be a Swiss Army knife where you could go. And I've always said this, and I'm not asking for your recruiting secrets. There are a lot of small town USA guys throughout this nation. You just look anywhere. And I'm talking about small high schools. If it were me on the recruiting game, I'm going to look from the smallest high school I can find, and I'm looking at their center fielders, their shortstop, and maybe the catcher and third baseman, because those are the guys who are going to probably be your more athletic, versatile guys that can play other positions. They could pitch a little bit, and they're athletic enough where they can play other positions, which will help stretch that scholarship money to be competitive.
Right. You're exactly right. Particularly, on my level, you definitely look for utility guys. You only have so much scholarship limited. I don't have the luxury world where, let's say, Georgia Tech can get 5, 6, 7 POs. I mean, I'm looking if I have 2, 3 POs, which meaning when I say PO, pitchers only. But most of the time, you look for utility guys. You look for guys who can give you some midweek innings and that nature. And that's just the nature of the beast. You got to be versatile. I mean, it only helps me to be versatile. It helps within the program. So you're exactly right. You guys up the middle, your catcher, first baseman got some thump in the bat. But for the most part, if you utility, that's a bigger asset for me. You have more room to negotiate with me.
Yes, sir. Now, we always talk about, that diamond with the middle, second base, shortstop, center field, catcher. Then, of course, your guy on the bump. And when you're looking at that, and we also have to be able to look for pitchers who can think. You're not going to blast people off the mound. And everybody likes to strike out, but really, if you're a strikeout pitcher, that means you got more pitch counts, longer pitch counts, which can wear you down as you get older. Do you have a pitch count theory, or do you just kind of let a guy go?
You know what? It varies. It varies from program to program. Now, the previous school, I had a guy that had a rubber arm. He was lights out. A la Judge Smokes. You have guys like that. Certain programs you don't. You have to monitor those pitch innings. So I'm in a situation now. I don't have that. I run a 3-man rotation, so I pretty much have to monitor their arms. You got some guys. If you can give me 5+, that's great. You got a middle reliever coming in. You got a guy who can close. But the longer you go, the better it helps because I got a lot of utility guys out there. But I definitely monitor pitch count. I definitely do. Due to the limited arms that we have and to cut down on injury, I definitely do that.
Okay. And do you have a cutoff point to where you say, okay, we at that warning zone?
It varies. It depends. I can't necessarily give you a number. Ideally, some guys might go 75 to 80, whatever it may be, and I have to make that call. And I have to make it right away. That's a call that I have to make to decide, And I pretty much know from each individual how much they can give me. Other things I look at their demeanor. And some guys, you have those, quote unquote, you have those bulldogs, it's going to give you pretty much more than what the average guy will give you. So it just varies. That's why you got to learn your guy. That's why fall ball is important. That's why all that takes place to really evaluate and see what you really have.
Absolutely. Now, when we talk about conference play for NAIA, it's usually doubleheader Saturday, single on Sunday. With you being independent, how are your games structured?
The games are structured. It's pretty much it's double on Saturday and single on Sunday, and then we have midweek games usually like on Tuesday and Wednesday. It varies, but that's pretty much how it's structured. It's not too much different than where I was, Division II ball. Oh. But yeah, that's pretty much how it works.
Okay, now when you get in the midst of season play, being that you don't have a conference, is it difficult for you to schedule games later on when other teams are doing conference games, or you have a lot of midweek games during the later part of the season?
I have midweek, a lot of midweeks. Yeah, a lot of midweek games.
Okay. Yep. That would have to take some getting used to, huh?
It does, because this is something I can tell you, Mike. It's something different for me. It's something different for me. That's why I say we got to be working on getting a conference. Because at the end of the day, you got to have what are we chasing for? You see what I'm saying, Mike?
Mm-hmm.
What are we chasing for? So that's why I say hopefully we can get in a conference. I don't know what conference it could be, but at the end of the day, you got to have some kind of goal, some kind of prize that you're chasing towards to. So it's an adjustment for me. It is.
Okay. Well, with that adjustment, good things come to those who wait, and you keep right on grinding. And I want you to know, man, that we're going to keep, as they say, the light on for you guys at Voorhees. And you got to promise us that you'll keep an open line with us, that we can continue to talk some baseball with you guys.
We will, most definitely, Mike.
Okay, look, we have been speaking with head baseball coach of Voorhees Tigers, Mr. Marcus Smith. We have a custom here, my man, that we allow our guests to have some closing words and thoughts. And now the floor is all yours, and I'll give it over to you.
Okay. I would like to close with a true person. When I'm talking about character, Mike, I would like to say, when nobody else around, that defines a true person. What are you doing when nobody else around? That defines a true character. When you're out and about in society, you're wearing this facade, but what are you doing when the eyes are not on you? That's going to find really who that person is. And also, I like to see how a person overcome adversity. Through good times, everything is great, but how does that person handle adversity? That's the key, especially when we're dealing with younger kids.
Sounds very inviting and very deep thought. Must be a baseball guy. Yes, sir. Look, man, we want to thank you so much for joining in with us on today. We thank those who have joined in by way of the Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union Hotline. The time tells me that I must exit stage left. But it's always a joy and a pleasure. Don't forget to follow us on our social media handles. Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter is at The Mike Prince Show. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Open Mic Broadcast Network. and go to the website, obnradio.com. I've got to go, but until the next time, you guys be blessed. We'll see you on the other side.